Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Code Mind. Today we will continue the list concept or array concept in C. So let's start with our first question. So our first question is we have to give the means we will take the list and we will check out which of the elements in the list are even or which of the element in the list are odd. So see here, first n is equals to 5, that is the size of the list. So n equals to int of input of, here we have taken n is equals to 5. Now we have taken the list of elements. L is equals to list of map of int comma input dot split of. So we will split with the space and we have taken the list of element contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our L value contains your 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is our list contains. Now what the output we want an output of all the even elements in the list and all the odd elements in the list. So this is all the even element in the list and this is all the odd elements in the list. For example, 1 is your odd, so it will come into the odd position. 2 is your even, 3 is your odd, 4 is your even, 5 is your odd. So this is the odd even list and this is your odd list. So this is your odd list and this is your even list. So same we need to write the code for that one. So in this we are taking the elements of the list, not the range. That is, we are not dealing with the indices here. We are directly dealing with the elements in the list. Means I value will be ranging with the list value. Means 1, it will be 1, then it will be 2, then it will be 3, then it will be 4 and then it will be 5. I value will range from 1 to 5 based on the elements in the list. If here for example in the list elements are not 1 2 3 4 5, if it can have like this, if the list doesn't contain this element, if it contains 2 4 6 and 5 and 1, okay, so I value will range from 2, this first element of the list, then it will range 4, that is second element of the list, then it will be 6, that is the third element of the list, then 5, that is the fourth element of the list, then 1, that is the fifth element of the list. So whenever we write for I in L, means we will directly contains the values of the list. If we have written I in range of, so if whenever this comes range function comes or range keyword comes, it will deal with the index that will start with the 0. This is the index for this one, 0 1 2 3 4. So this is the index of this list. So whenever range will come, it will deal with the index, or otherwise it will deal with the values of the list. So now, so I value in the first iteration I contains 1. So 1 mod 2. Is 1 mod 2 equals to 0? No. So if not, then odd dot append. So odd is one empty list and even is one empty list we have taken. So then we will, if the element is not divisible by 2, then we will append the element into an odd list. And if the element is divisible by 2, then we will append into an even list. So I is equals to 1, this is not divisible by 2, so we will append it into odd list. This is your even list and this is your odd list, okay. So this is your odd list, so 1 will be appended here. Now again the I value will be incremented to 2, that is the second element of the list. Now 2 mod 2 equals to 0, yes, so it will append into an even list. So even list is here, so 2 is appended here. Now the third element of the list, that is 3. Now 3 mod 2 equals to 0, no, so it will be appended into an odd. So it will append into odd, that is 3. Now again the next value of the list, that is 4. Now 4 is divisible by 2, yes, then it is appended into an even list. Now 5 is divisible by 2, no, then it is appended into an odd list. So this one, so then we had printed the even list and odd list. So this is your even list and this is your odd list, okay. Next question. This is our next question. In the next question, we are dealing with the index. So for example, we need to, same in the previous question, we have taken the size of the list, we have taken the list. But in this question, we want to add all those elements whose index is even and whose index is odd. In the previous question, we have added all the elements of the list elements of the list is even, then it is added into an even list. If the element of the list is odd, then it is added into an odd list. But here we will deal with the index. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is our list element. So our index is start from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in this question we need to add all those elements whose index is even. Okay, so even, and whose index is odd person. So this is an even, so we will add this one in the first time. Okay, in the even case our index is 2, 2 is your index, that is an even, so we will add 1 plus 3, that is 4. Then the index 4 is the even, so we will add 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 5, that is 9. So our output is 9. And then we will add the odd person's index element, that is 1 is the odd person, so 2 will be added, then 3 is the odd person, 4 plus 2, that is 6 will be added and presented as an output. So how we will begin it? So n we have taken 5, the list we have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then sum of even element 0 and sum of odd element 0. Now in this case, when we are dealing with the index, we will take for I in range of 0 to n. If we can have write it here instead of 0, we can write directly n, because by default it will take from 0 to n minus 1. So if the I, now I contains the index, that is 0, I will iterate from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. No matter what is the elements of the list, but it will iterate based on the index because of this range function. So I value will be first time 0. So is 0 mod 2 equals to 0? Yes. So the even, S of even will take what it will add, which is 0 initially, it is 0, it will add list of I, that is L of 0. So L of 0 is your 1. So 1 will be added, 0 plus 1, that is 1. Then I will be incremented to 1. Now 1 mod 2 equals to 0? No. So S of odd will added L of I. L of 1 is your 2. So here 2 will be added. Okay. Again I value will be incremented to 3. Now 3 mod 2 equals to, sorry, I value will be incremented to 2, not 3. It will be incremented to 2. Now 2 mod 2 equals to 0? Yes. So S of even will add the L of I, that is L of 2. L of 2, that is 3. We have the index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have index 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So L of 2 is 3. So 3 will be added. 3 plus 1 is 4. Now again I value will be incremented to 3. Now 3 mod 2 equals to 0? No. So S of odd plus L of I. So L of 3 is your 4. Now here 4 plus 1, 5, 6. Now 4 index I value 4 mod 2 equals to 0. Yes. So S of even plus L of I. What is your L of I? L of 4, that is 5. So 5 plus 4 is 9. Now again the I value will be incremented, but its the condition is false, so I value will not be 5 and it will come out of the loop. S of even is your 9 and S of odd is your 6. So this is the output will be printed. Okay. Next question. So in this question, what the question is saying, we want the maximum consecutive ones. Maximum consecutive ones. For example, this is the number of test case, that is t is equals to int of input of, okay, t of input of, that is test case. Then we will run the for loop for the number of test cases. This is, then n is equals to 6. We have taken n in the first test case, it is 6. List is equals to, this one is our list. Now what we need to print here, if it is this, then the maximum consecutive ones is how much? There are 2 ones which are consecutive. So there are 2 ones and 1 ones. Okay, there are 2 number of ones which are consecutive and there is single number of 1 which is consecutive. So 2 and 1, but we need to print the maximum, so we will print the 2. Okay, in the second case we have here 2 consecutive ones, then again 2 consecutive ones, and then 3 consecutive ones. So we want to print the maximum of these 3. So 3 will be our output. Okay. So our question is to print the maximum number of consecutive ones in a binary array. okay, or in a binary list. So how we will proceed? So first we have taken n, we have taken the list. So for I in L, we are taking directly the elements of the list. So when I is equals to 0, if I is equals to 0, then count equals to 0. We don't need to do anything. We are taking one variable, which is count. If I is not equals to 0, means I is equals to 1, then we will increment the count value from whatever its value. If it is, we will increment it by 1, okay. And if we are taking another variable r also, if r is less than c, means r value is 0 and here now count value is 1, we have did it. So if r is less than c, yes, so r will be taken to the, means c value is placed into the r value. Then again we will go for I again 1. So I is equals to 1, c value is incremented to 2. Is 1 is less than 2, condition is satisfied. So 2 will be stored in R. So this one, okay. Again we will go for I in L. If I is equals to 0, yes, I now is equals to 0. So when I is equals to 0, count is your 0. When count is 0, again it will be incremented, I is equals to 1. Now count value is incremented to 1. Now is, if r is less than c, no, 2 is not less than 1, condition not satisfied. So we will not place the c value into r. Now again the I value incremented to 0. Now I is equals to 0, count is equals to 0. Now this loop completes. Then we will print the r value, which is your 2. Once again I will trace this question, because this is important question, with this input, okay. So we need to print. So what we are taking the count variable to count the, we are taking the count variable to count the number of ones, okay, number of consecutive ones, and r will store the maximum value, because we want to print the maximum count. Count will count the number of consecutive ones, r will store the maximum number of count value, consecutive counts of ones, okay. R will store maximum. So how we will begin? Initially both c and r is 0. Now the first one is your I is 0. First I is 0, okay. So is I is equals to 0? Yes. So c is equals to 0, no problem. We will not enter into an else part. Now I will be 1. Now when I is equals to 1, I is equals to 0, no. So we will come into an else part. So c will be incremented to 1. C will be incremented to 1. Is r is less than c, is 0 is less than c, condition is satisfied. So c value is put it into an r. So now r contains your 1. Now I value is equals to 1. Again r I value is equals to 1. Now c is incremented to 2, okay. Now is 1 is less than 2? Yes. So r contains the value c, that is 2. Now 0. So I contains 0. If it is 0, c value is included to 0. Again 1. Now c contains 1. When I contains your 1, okay. So c will be incremented to 1. Then is 2 is less than c? 1? No. When it is not, then it will not enter into this loop, and again it will increment the value of I, which is your 1. I value, which is your 1. Now when it is 1, IC is incremented to 2. Is 2 is less than 2? No. So it will not enter into this if loop. Now I contains the 0. When it is 0, we don't have to do anything, just we need to put c is equals to 0 if c is not 0. Again 0, I value is 0. So c is in already 0, no problem, it is as it is. Now 1. Now I contains the value 1. When it is 1, it will be incremented to 1. Okay, c value. Now 1 is less than c. Sorry, 2 is less than c. Condition is false. It will not enter, and it will change the value of I to 1. Now when I is equals to 1, c is again equals to 1. When c is again equals to 1 is 2 is less than, sorry, c will be incremented to 2. I'm sorry. C will be incremented to 2 here. 1 plus 1 is 2. So is 2 is less than 2? No. Condition is not satisfied. It will not enter into this loop and increment the value of I to be your 1. Now again C value will be incremented to 3. Now is 2 is less than 3, condition is satisfied, then this C value is stored into an R which contains 3. Now there is no element in the list, so we will print the value of R which is your 3. So 3 will be the output. Okay. Next question. In this same, we need to print the count value. Instead of printing the R value, here we need to print the count value, that is 2 and 1, that is 2 ones and 1 1, then 2 1, then 2 1, and then is your 1 only. This one or this, sorry, this is continuously 3 and this is 1. Okay. So we want to print this is 2 consecutive 1, this is 1, so 2 1, then 2, then 3, and then 1. So 2, 3, and 1. So instead of printing the maximum, we will print the count value. That's it. Here we don't need to take the R value, which is the maximum, because here we want to print only the count values. Okay. So how we will begin? We will take the test case T for, we will take the loop, we will take the n values, we will take the list of elements of this one. Okay. So we have taken and count equals to 0. So same previous, we will take the for I in loop. If I is equals to, now if I is equals to 0, okay, and if count is not equals to 0, then we will print the count value. Okay, when I is equals to 0 and when I is equals to 1, then we will simply increment the count value. Got my point? If count value is equals to 0, then what we need to do? Then we need to check if that count value is equals to 0. First we will check if I is equals to 0 or not. If I is equals to 0 and if count value is equals to 0, then we don't need to do anything. Okay. But if count value is supposed to, then we need to print that count value and we need to change the count value to 0. And if the count I value is equals to 1, then we will simply increment the count value. Check it once, I will trace it. So here we contains the C value equals to 0 and I value contains, I will trace for this one. Okay. So I value contains 0. So for I in L, I is equals to 0, yes. So is C is not equals to 0? No. Count is equals to 0, it will not enter into this loop and it will not enter into else part also, because this condition is true. So it will go to, so it will check the next element of the I in the list, that is 1. So if I is equals to 0, no, this is not true. So it will contain this one. So it will increment the count value to 1. Now again the I value is incremented to 1. Not incremented, that is the next value of the list element which is stored in I. So now I is equals to 1. Now if I is equals to 0, this condition is again false. It will go into else pass and continue. C is equals to 1. C plus 1, that is 1 plus 1, that is 2. Okay. So after doing this one, we will increment the count value to, 0. Now the I value contains the 0. So is I is equals to 0? Yes. If C is not equals to 0? No. Condition is here also satisfied. C is equals to 2. So we will print the value of C, which is 2. Now C will be stored with 0. Okay. After that, C is stored with 0. Now we will again check for the I value. Okay. I value is again your 1. Now if I is equals to 0, no. So I count will be incremented to 1. Now again I value will be changed to 0. Now is C value is I value is equals to 0? Yes. Now if C value is not equals to 0, true. Because C value contains the 1, it is not equals to 0. So we will print the C value which is 1 and we will change it to 0. Okay. So we got the output with this one. Okay. So why I had written in the last case this one? So this one is written for this case. If it is in the last, here last it contains the 0. If it contains the 0, then only it printed. But if in the last one it is not 0 and it is 1, means it had incremented. So for this last printing of this one, we have taken this one. Okay, we have taken this very values. Okay, and this print is for the next line. So when will you trace this as an input? You will check for this condition. Okay, I want you to trace that one so that you will get more clarity about this question. Okay, next question. Now our next question is, we want to print the maximum of the subarrays, maximum sum of subarrays. So what we call it as a subarrays? So 2 is subarray, 2 3 is subarray, 2 3 minus 8 is subarray, 2 3 minus 8 7 is subarray, 2 3 minus 8 7 minus 1 is subarray, 2 3 8 7 minus 1 2 is subarray, and this is whole is subarray. Subarrays means a continuous, okay, consecutive subarrays we want. Consecutive, the number should be in consecutive, then only we can call it as a subarray. For example, 2 3 minus 8 is a subarray, but 2 minus 8 minus 1 is not a subarray because these numbers are not consecutive or the continuous. Okay, so this is a subarray. Minus 1 2 3 is a subarray, 7 minus 1 2 is subarrays. Okay, so all these are subarrays. Subarrays are the arrays which are continuous. Okay, not like 2 minus 8 is not a subarray. Okay, if space, you can also say 2 is a subarray, 3 is a subarray, minus 1 is a subarray separately. These are independently subarrays. But if you want to like 2 3 minus 8 is a subarray because these are the continuous. Okay, 2 3 minus 8 7, this is a subarray because it's a continuous. So we want that subarray only whose sum is maximum. For example, 3 plus 2 is your 5. Okay, 5 minus 8 is your minus 3. So this is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 7 is your 4. Okay, 4 minus 1 is your 4 minus 1 is your 3. 3 plus 2 is your 5, and 5 plus 3 is your 8. Okay, so 8 will be our answer. So if we will take whole these as a subarray, then our answer will be your 8, which is not a maximum because we are getting the max. We can get the 11 as a maximum. Okay, so how we can program with that? Hope you are getting this question, because if you know the subarrays, which are anything is a subarray, if I can write it here for the smaller one, I will write. For example, 1 2 3 is our array. Okay, is our list. Instead of this one is our list. So what is the subarray? So 1 is the subarray, 1 2 is the subarray, 1 2 and 3 is the subarray. Okay, or 2 is the subarray, 2 3 is the subarray, and 3 is the subarray. So this is called the subarray, means the continuous value is called a subarray. From here to here, these are the subarrays of 1 2 and 3. So we want our output to be the maximum sum of the subarrays, means this array, we want a subarray whose sum is maximum. So this is a subarray whose sum is maximum. In this case, 3 4 5 and 6, this is the sum of the subarray whose sum is maximum. So our, when all the elements of the input like 2 3 and 4, if all these are positive, then the maximum sum of the subarray is your sum of this whole number. For example, 4 5 6 7 8 9, so 9 will be our output. But whenever there is a positive number and a negative number, then we need to find it this subarray's maximum sum. Okay, so how we will write the program? See here, we have taken n, that is 7. We have taken the list of element 2 3 8 minus 8 7 minus 1 2 and 3. Now what we are taking is, we are defining one user defined function, that is maxval, and we are passing the list and the size of the element, that is n. So we have defined it here with the def keyword. Now what we are taking is that we have taken this 2, okay, in a result, that is the 2 is stored. L of 0 means this is the index 0 and L of 0, that is 2 is stored in here. So what we are doing is that there is a keyword in a Python and then we are iterating it from 1 to last number, okay, for loop. So res is equals to max of res plus L of I and L of I. So there is a max function in the Python which takes the two parameters, okay. So first parameter what we are passing is the sum of res plus this particular number, that is I, and that particular number. So 3 plus 2 is your 5 and that 3 number. What is the maximum? So 5 is the maximum which is stored in res, which is your 5. Okay, that is your maximum which is stored in res. Okay, now the I contains minus 8. Okay, so max value is your minus 8 plus 5, because what we are adding is the res plus L of I and res plus L of I. So res value contains 5 and L of I is minus 8. 5 plus minus 8 is your minus 3 and L of I, that is minus 8. So what the res contains? Res contains your minus 3. So if we will trace like this, we will get the output as an 11 in the res, and we had written the res, or you can print it here as well. If you have not written print a statement here, then you can print it here. Otherwise, you can return res value and it will be printed here. That is your 11. If you want to trace that program, you can do it very easily. I will trace it for the, okay, I will trace for this longer value only. Let it be. So we have started with the res is equals to 2. This line will contains 2. Now it will run from this to this loop. Okay. So how we will do it? So first we have to check. Now I value contains your 3. So res, that is 2 plus L of I. L of I, sorry, I doesn't contain 3. I contains the value, that is 1. So here it is range function which is the index. So 1, 2, here it is 0, 3, 4, 5 and 6. This is the index value. Okay. So L of I. So res is 2 plus L of I. L of 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is your 5. So max value contains your 5, comma, L of I is your 3. So what is the maximum? 5 or 3? 5. So now 5 is stored in your res. Okay. Now I value is incremented. Okay. Now I value contains the 2. Now res plus L of I. Res is 5. Now 5 plus L of I is your, L of 2 is your minus 8. So max is equals to minus 3, comma, L of I is your minus 8. So which is greater? Minus 3. So res contains your minus 3. Okay. Now I value contains your incremented to 3. Now max res plus L of I. So minus 3 plus L of I. L of 3 is your 7. So 7 and minus 3. So what is the max? That is your 4. Okay. And L of I, that is your 7. So what is maximum? 7. So 7 is stored in res. Okay. So 7 is stored here. Okay. Now the next one, I is incremented to 4. Now res is equals to max of res plus L of I. So res is equals to 7. Not here. Positive is the 7. Okay. So max of res, that is 7 plus L of I. L of, that is 7 minus 1 is 6, comma, minus 1. So what is the maximum? 6 will be your maximum, which is contained in the res. Now I value is incremented to 5. Now res plus L of I. Res is 6 plus L of I, that is L of 5 is 2. 6. So max value contains your 6 plus 2, that is 8, comma 2. So what is the maximum value is 8. Now I value is incremented to 6. Now 6. RES plus L of I. RES is 8 plus L of I, that is your 3. So 8 plus 3 is your 11. So max value contains your 11 comma 3, which is L of I, which is 3. So maximum is 11, which is stored in RES. So RES contains 11 and that 11 is passed here and it is printed here. So 11 is our output. Okay. But remember that this program will not work if all the inputs are negative. For example, if the input is given -1, -3 and -2, then this program will not work. In this case, it will either give, I think, -2 it will give, but it must have to give the input output as -1. So this program will not work if all the inputs are negative. This program will not work if all the inputs are negative. This program will work if the inputs are all positive, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or the input contain the positive and a negative. For those both the inputs it will work, but this program will not work if the input is your all negative, like -1, -2 and -3. This will not work. So what the changes we need to do in this one, that I will leave on you. I will give the hint. One thing you can do is you can take the RES as an empty list. Okay, instead of taking the RES as an variable, you can take the RES as an empty list and you can store all the elements in the RES, and then you can take the maximum of that element. Okay, maximum of all the elements in the list. That is one approach. Or you can think about another approach and you can do a comment and send me a program. Or otherwise, if you will not get the answer, I will tell you in the next video how we can proceed if a program wants to be all negative input. Okay, so what's the program for if the input is all negative? Next question. That's it. One doubt is there, is one, I think one, I don't know who asked me, but one of the boy or girl had asked me this doubt, that is L dot count of I, what does this do? So I will tell. So for example, list is your 22, 33, 22, 44 and 22. If the list contains this one and we have written L dot count of I. So I value contains, for example, I value contains directly the values in the list, that is for I in L. So I L dot count of 22, what this will do, it will count the number of 22s in your list L, that is 1, 2 and 3. So it will return the output as a 3. That is, it counts the number of what, how many times it had repeated in this list, that this one will do. Okay, hope you understood this one. That's all for today. Thank you. If you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe to the channel to get the latest notification. And please watch my other videos as well, like MCQs in Python or the MCQs in C, because these will help you to get the logic of your program, which is very important whenever you do a coding. So watch that one, that will really help you. Thank you.